Technology is one side of the challenge. Other side of the challenge is that humans. How do you connect the technology? How do you deliver the same as intended to the humans? There is called a process of change management. It is not easy all the time because we have to look at carefully various things in looking at projects level of domain understanding to the human level of expectations. So in early my career, I learned heavily on frameworks of roadmaps, believing clarity of vision, process, natural aligning people.
Hello and welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, brought to you by Directors Institute, World Council of Directors. I'm your host, Sunny Pancholi, and today's episode is extra special. We are joined by a leader who has played a pivotal role in transforming IT strategies and driving business growth across multiple regions. It's my absolute pleasure to introduce Mr. Srinivasa Vara Prasad V, a seasoned IT executive with decades of experience. From leading global digital transformations to aligning IT with business objectives at MAT Holdings, Rockwell Automation, and Amara Raja Batteries, Mr. Prasad's leadership has been instrumental in shaping the tech landscape. Mr. Prasad, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for your warm welcome, and it's truly a pleasure being here. I'm looking forward for the sharing experiences and my exposure to the industry for about 3 decades, and I'll be very keen to go ahead further and then explain my journey. Okay.
Surely, we are thrilled to have you here, Mr. Prasad. And without any further ado, let me ask you the first question. We would love to hear it from your perspective. What was the starting point for you? How did your career evolve from there? And what were some key moments that shaped your path?
Thank you. Yeah, this is a good question. I would like to get through from my journey of personal, how I started my career. So I was born and brought up from a holy town called Tirupati, Andhra Pradesh, and started my career from there. To begin with, early 90s, a company called Pioneer Group of Industries. It has about several groups together. It's surprising. My journey started with a one single computer, which has a capacity of 128 kb memory. It's very, very interesting. In our generation, cannot even think of it. The floppy drive, 8.5 inch. I know, you have to have 2 floppy drives to load the OS and then load the application. That's what we started with COBOL. I'm a COBOL programmer. From there, I pitched into learning various business understanding, because typically when we started journey, it was purely technical. I'm a software engineer, or so-called today, and started career with core hardcore programming. And it was intent to be developing some calculations only. But as I crop up in Pioneer Group, I understand that there were several things which I can address, in a sense that business wants something more from simple calculation to something as a delivery from their value perspective. So that's where I've seen that there is a tremendous opportunity in those days, that what IT can we don't even call in those days IT. It is a computers. Computers is the only buzzword, any typing or computers are both one and same. People used to think like that. So then we started looking at, how we can add value to the group. So we started doing small things like, accounting principles, accounting process. And then we started doing in payroll, and I had a, application developed in COBOL. Later, we found it's very difficult. We moved to the next platform called Basic, and then we moved to the Fox Pro. I had a very wonderful journey with the Pioneer Group to contribute on various aspects. That's a journey of 7 years. I've been working with them, and then later I got a wonderful opportunity from Amara Raja Group. Again, Amara Raja Batteries is one company. We have several together in the group, electronics, and then foods company and infrastructure company together, where I had an opportunity to start a greenfield project. When I joined in the company, there were only 2 systems. Nowadays, we call it as, in those times, XT and AT. XT means extra technology, AT means advanced technology. Remember that interestingly, and I was excited to see if a computer of a size of 10 megabits hard disk, that's called Winchester in those days. We started with the journey. I was so thrilled to see that such a huge space on the hard disk Winchester. It's the size of a brick today, and it was wonderful that start with that a little bit of programming and also considering a business process understanding from Amara Battis, because the company at that time it was in a growth path. So my thinking was that IT is a technology, but how can it add value to business growth there? So we looked at, and thanks to my mentor and my guru, Mr. Ramchandra Galla, who is the chairman of that company, who has supported me to, and he has given a wonderful freedom to look at out of box and bring in IT as a value addition or business value addition to the company. So we started looking at a small pockets of automation in terms of IT computerization, and we thought that may not be sufficient to grow. Let us build something enterprise level. What to do for this? We started evaluating, looking at various options, and then under the option we consider ERP is one of the enterprise planning system that we know we need to look at it and build into system. We also looked at options of looking at customized development within the in-house, or go for ready-made packages. We had a wonderful evaluation with the leadership team from Amara Raja, and we have finalized a wonderful product, and then implemented ERP system with the due diligence of business process analysis. That's one thing which I learned from Amara Raja, that IT has a role to play in understanding of business process analysis as well. So that when you go through the business process analysis, we also understand that there is a significance of understanding to bring in best practice in the organization into through a computer application, that is what ERP. So there is a gap in between these two. What to do? Then we realize that, okay, we can do something, have a business process re-engineering. That was the buzzword in those days that we were being looking at. Thanks to Peter Drucker, he is the one who's invented this and coined this. Thanks to my leadership team and mentor in mentorship in Amara Raja, has brought to do the business process re-engineering process, where as an IT person learned many things, that how business process goes through, what are the bottlenecks, what is that re-engineering has to be done to adapt to the best practices which are available in ERP system. So we have implemented ERP system successfully. It has been gone live as per schedule. In those days, it is going to be a nightmare because we have a lack of technology infrastructure in terms of connectivity between Tirupati to various parts of India. It was a challenging. So I took a challenge to see that how we can do with the little infrastructure what we have, connecting remote sites like our marketing sites or offices in various parts of India, connected through online, offline, and then transport the data and connecting through ERP system. That was a wonderful journey of 11 years with Amar Raja. Then later I moved to Rockwell Automation. Rockwell Automation is a wonderful journey because it's a very, very renowned company of US. With they are the inventors of transistors. Actually, I just want to give you, and they do automation for NASA to defense or anything. So I had an opportunity to work with a very structured, process-driven company, where the challenge was that it is completely a legacy of application, legacy of infrastructure. We have initiated a project called GPT, the Global Process Transformation, that triggered to go through a various transformation. It has two verticals of transformation. One is the business process transformation, another is IT process transformation. Together we call it as GPT, Global Process Transformation. We've done a wonderful job, phased out in regions, started from North America, and then EMA, and then and then Asia Pacific. So we have gone by phases with the help of consultants and also the internal IT staff. And this also a kind of journey that where I learned many things as a leader, to see that how this brings a success, because it is not sheer technology, it is not that sheer project management, and it is very important that how do you manage mission and mission, people, men and mission. That was a challenge which I learned from there. Change management has a big role to play, and then I was to play a role to see that how we can transform through various phases. So we have achieved that. Then post that, I joined Matt Holdings in 2014. I've been in this organization, and I'm also equally responsible for Asia Pacific. We've been doing a lot of transformation works in the part of digital transformation, and it is wonderful journey so far. And I have enriched with so much of knowledge and delegated responsibility globally to take care of various IT initiatives.
What an incredible journey, Mr. Prasad. It's clear that each step in your career was driven by a real purpose and vision. All right, so continuing our conversation, Mr. Prasad, leading process transformation across 16 countries isn't just about implementing strategy, it's about understanding people, cultures, and timing of every move. So I can only imagine the complexities of uniting different regions and teams under one vision. And what do you think made those efforts truly successful? And how did you balance the technical with the human side of transformation to ensure lasting impact?
Good question, because this is a very key thing. I just just a while ago I explained. The key was that it is a challenge that the kind of magnitude of the projects when we handle. I've gone through in Rockwell as well as in Matt Holdings now. It is a kind of technology is one side of the challenge. Other side of the challenge is that humans. How do you connect the technology? How do you deliver the same as intended to the humans? There is a called a process of change management. It is not easy all the time because we have to look at carefully various things in looking at projects level of domain understanding to the human level of expectations. So in early my career, I learned heavily on frameworks of roadmaps, believing clarity of vision, process, natural aligning people. I quickly realized that it is not that sufficient that you need to understand only strategy, you need to understand only business process or project management. In addition to that, you need to also understand how do you connect technology with people who can feel heard, included, and inspired. Because if we don't do this, then the entire project will go into havoc. Sometimes it can even not meet the expectations. So when I lead the Global Transformation Initiative, spanning teams across Asia, Europe, and North America, cultural context become both challenging and a gift, because this is what I seen sometimes. A region has a different feedback and different welcoming. In others, silently speak volumes, because the silence itself is we don't know, but they don't speak, they don't contribute, but they talk about very, very extensively in silence. But somebody explicitly explain their concerns. We need to listen to them. We need to listen to silence audience as well as loud audience where they speak about their concerns. Understand the culture, understand the driven intent behind. And then I had a point of co-create the environment so that local implementation plans also to be derived from the larger project plans or global level. So when we dream on the boardrooms that bring in a global transformation is different from when it comes to a region and local. This is what I understand, and then I picked up that point of you know lead. And then I started looking at regions, how to lead. I started looking at how to can draw a blueprint based on global blueprint to the regional blueprint and to the local blueprint. So this is how actually I evolved myself to understanding increasing adoption. And this is basically has come with empathy, which was specifically vital moments of resistance. Because I've seen that this is very, very common problem in especially in Japan region, and then talk about China region, also Eastern Europe region. I have seen very different approaches of implementations I have to adapt with. Those are the challenges which I learned, and I sat down with the teams, listened to their concerns, and evolve acknowledge strategy. This is what I call it as. This is a new buzzword called acknowledge strategy, which can be conversed in the different shifted dynamics. Because this is what I've seen that adapted at a point in time to make the project success. And this is what I have experienced myself and evolved a time when I was to implement a regional or global project.
That's such an insightful approach, Mr. Prasad. It's clear that successful transformations are not just about processes, but understanding the people driving them. Mr. Prasad, your career has taken you through some fascinating areas. Everything from IT policy design to managing data centers, which means you have had to balance both governance and the nuts and bolts of infrastructure. So I'm curious to know, how did you develop such a deep, wide ranging command over these IT functions? Was there a specific mindset or experience that helped you connect these two seemingly different worlds and make them work in harmony?
That's a really thoughtful question. And the depth and range I bring across IT functions, where it was kind of hardware, networking, coding, cybersecurity, system architecture. You talk about blah 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 IT jargons, right? That's part of IT strategy. But a kind of meta learning approach built into how I was trained, because this is how actually I evolved myself, training myself with the mentors, with the gurus around me. I can quote, Professor Sedagopan, who is my mentor and guru from IIT, Bangalore, Triple IT Bangalore, who shaped me to this level, and I'm thankful to him. I must quote without, any hesitation. Thank you, Professor. And yeah, it is work like, immersive training and diverse data, because this is what one of the things which I look at when I look at, how do the complexity to be handled. So I have, focused more on vast amount of data and also a technical manuals, how we can also evolve so that the real world problem is solving techniques as well as best practice can be adapted accordingly when it has to be seamlessly integrated into the system. So then the next step was I looked at system thinking. Now, how do I can adapt to system or bring in system thinking? I was trying to think holistically that in IT, are we looking at IT driven approach or business driven approach? So adapted, I take a back chair of IT as a IT as a back chair and included business as a front ender to see that the success come from with the metadata, what we collected, and also trained information, how you have been able to, pass on to the teams so that they can be successful. So the balance of infrastructure, balance of people management, balance of change management brought me to think about cross discipline synthesizers, because this is one thing which disciplinary synthesizers which helps to look at draw parallel across domains, because this is what exactly I learned that team success is not limited to a domain. We have to have a cross domainal understanding relationship, so that ability to translate ideas between fields helps creating harmony inside the of any project, because this is what exactly I learned from the curiosity of how we can bring in success. Well, when it comes to a pattern of recognition, I am also consistently looking for why behind certain things, certain times of implementation not able to be successful. Is it because of technical knowledge or broader strategic thinking missing? So this critical thinking sometimes help me to revisit the project, revisit the scope, revisit the entire approach to the project and bring the success. This is how I build, a kind of depth I see myself. And then key mindset of integration looks from how different tools, a different system and discipline interaction between teams and the technology. This is how actually I formulated everything.
Incredible. And that's a brilliant way of looking at it, Mr. Prasad. It's clear that mastering both governance and infrastructure takes a unique kind of leadership. Moving ahead, Mr. Prasad, we are living in an era of, where AI and automation are reshaping industries, especially in IT. While these technologies drive efficiency and innovation, the human touch in leadership remains irreplaceable. So, from your perspective, how do you see the role of human leadership evolving in enterprise IT as automation continues to grow?
Another good question. From my perspective, a role of human leadership in enterprise IT is not being replaced by AI, not today, tomorrow, and day after tomorrow, or anytime. This is my perspective. I may be wrong completely. Okay. Especially you talk about AI and automation, it has been defined and elevated because it is required actually. So ultimately, what is AI? What is automation? It is all human creation. It has nothing to do with something which it has come from somewhere heaven or somewhere else from kind of a deep discovery or mining. No, it's not. So what I see from a leader perspective, strategic visionary over operational overseers. I see that current shift is most of leaders are operational overseers. They're not into strategic thinkers, strategic visionaries. I see this is what exactly, what is going to shift. Paradigm shift is going to happen in AI. If somebody could not adapt the leadership of strategic visionary, maybe there may be a difficult that, to handle with AI or automation. So we have to think leaders will move away from managing day-to-day tasks or operation to automation, increasingly handling and focus instead of setting vision, aligning, and then technology business goals to see that how we can steer the innovation, because you have existence of AI give you a lot of inputs, lot of research in work coming into your plate, and also look at automation, be it a shop floor automation or business automation of top floor, both are inclined. So keeping lights on, but leading transformation will be very big challenge for leaders to move ahead in further era of AI and automation. So this is brings to me another point called cutters of human potential, because when you see that curtains of human potential is that mission takes over perspective rules based on work, because people think that mission will take over everything. No, it's not going to be, because ultimately we created that infrastructure for our facilities, right from you see abacus to the calculator to human IT systems. They're all human creations based on the need. So we have evolved over a period of time from low level of automation to the high level of automation. That's all simple. I can say that we have reached to the high level of automation, and it will not stop. It will continue to grow further, but it cannot replace humans. That's what I mean to say. So when we bring into IT, AI and transformation through automation, it is increasing responsibility of leadership to look at the ethics and responsible governance championship, because responsible governance championship is what is now currently not adapted or understood by any of the leaders now. I think this is where I think a step in will happen and people will understand. We will take it further on that. And importantly, changing agent and culture shapers, because this is what one of the area which I see that which my vision, it is going to change the future. You need to have a change agents extensively in organization, also culture shapers, because where HR can play a big role, but still IT has very good penetration to HR. Together they can do wonderful job. So AI automation bring continuous change in evolving era now, but leaders will be navigating the resistance and also the prompting agility and creating culture that embracing lifelong learning and also experimentation, because I will say that everything is experiment because nothing is stable now. So we see chat gpt gives something and deep sea gives something else, so we are confused with where to rely, what information we keep floating information across. One way it is good, one way I cannot say it is good, because it may be dangerous also. So they need to be emotionally intelligently communicative and seek the AI information at the level it has to be adapted and then used it. So human mission partnership architects, which are going to play another big role, because this is what one of the things which I'm seeing that it can be, I strongly believe that efficient leaders will pick up this point of human mission partnership architecture. So that is what is going to come up. And I see that as my thoughts as a conclusion of this topic, that human leadership is not becoming obsolete. It will never be. It is becoming more human, and as technology gets smarter, and we need to be a purpose driven and also empathetic and visionary leadership, we need to adapt. So becoming more critical than ever now, that's what I'm seeing as a future.
Absolutely, absolutely, Mr. Prasad. And it's so refreshing to hear that perspective. It's clear that even in an age of technology, leadership is more about people and vision than ever before. So, Mr. Prasad, as you look ahead, what are some of your personal aspirations for the next phase of your career? And do you see yourself stepping into the boardroom, bringing your vast experience in IT leadership to guide organizations at more strategic level?
Yeah, it's another thoughtful question. I would like to say that, that's where actually, I just got into the director institution and understand more in its perspectives. Yeah, as I look ahead, the next phase of my career, I'm really focused on broadening my impact beyond my operational leadership or strategic leadership. I spent years of, experienced, driving IT strategies, leading transformations, etc., etc. Now I'm actually thinking of, increasingly interested in roles where I can contribute at more strategic level, not limiting to where that is advising on in innovation, as well as guiding a digital governance and also mentoring emerging leaders and leadership. Because this is where I'm looking at. Because my experience, my knowledge, my everything, I want to put as an investment for a future a growth of the country or the globe, wherever I can be add value to it. That's what I'm looking at as opportunity to have a contribution. Stepping into a boardroom is actually, I will see that it's a natural progression, because so much of enriching experience a day you will be utilized, or you have to be get into somewhere add value to board. So I'm actually actively considering myself. Organizations today face a rapid evolving technical landscape, from cybersecurities to the AI integration, also ethical governance. I call it as ethical governance because AI and cybersecurities go hand in hand with a lot of synergy in the markets. They can dictate several areas where if humans cannot follow a good ethical governance, so that's where I think I can add greater value, and that's where my knowledge and wisdom, what I acquired over a period of 3 decades, will help. And I would like to bring a technology-informed lens to the boardroom discussion, so that boardrooms can be more agile and then empowered with decision making on helping shape resilient, future-ready, infrastructure or strategies for the business. This is what I'm looking at as a responsible, experienced leader so far, and bring in ethical value additions into the board, and also to the environment where I can be possibly contributing.
Mr. Prasad, it's inspiring to hear about your vision for the future. Your experience really positions you to drive even more strategic changes at the highest levels. So, talking about ESG, it is becoming a key focus for global organizations, and it's clear that the technology leaders must consider its impact in their strategies. So, from your perspective, how critical is ESG awareness in shaping IT strategies today? And how do you see it influencing decision making in the future?
Interesting question. See, I want to give a little background to it, because I'm a person with passionate about three principles of life, which I missed to share in the introduction time. The principles are personal, which includes my personal family or personal associate, in extending to the society. That's also my person. I consider that wherever I am there, I want to add something to the value to society. Then professional, I want to give the best to the profession where I am, and then be a differentiator wherever I am, so that I can add value to the professional wing. Then third one is a spiritual. I'm a spiritual person. I do follow spirituality, in specific to yoga and doing meditation, etc., etc. When I'm talking back to the social consciousness, which I have adopted as my goal, one of the goal, I have been in active voluntary work with UN agencies, supporting sustainable development goals. Hope you must have heard about SDGs. What UN has set for the globe. I contribute, areas where we talk about healthy lifestyle. I myself as a role model of healthy lifestyle, an abstinence club, alcohol, tobacco, or whatever you talk about. And also I focus on how to preach the new generation or younger generation to see healthy lifestyle and lead the healthy lifestyle. This is one of the part of environment which I'm talking about, connecting to SD, ESG, because this is where I'm coming from. So another part of SDG is that gender equality, because although we are all humans, but we have significantly somehow driven away with a mindset of gender inequality or imbalance. I can say that. So wherever I'm there, I want to see that that area of contribution can be given. That will be part of environment we have to sustain, and we have to be surviving with a equal level of opportunities for genders, right? Then the goal of our planet, that is sustainable development goal 13, which is talk about our planet. unless we have a very ceremonialist, approach to environment, we can never be, equally good in, contributing the nature, because we are doing a lot of damage to environment by means of several aspects without not being looking at technology launching. See, for example, plastic we bought in without understanding. Why? We saw that it is economically viable for everybody and brought in. Now today it is a big headache for environment. Now today we have to spend so many, thought process going on to bring back our, lovely planet, what gifted by God. But we are unable to get back. So now we are looking at, various initiatives. That is one of the initiatives we are talking about. We are currently, positioning on that. So my point of view, sustainability of IT operations is one of the important aspect which I see that we need to look at it. Adapting green data centers, optimizing cloud usage, because the problem is we are generating a lot of e-waste. That is one thing which is very dangerous from IT point of view. That somewhere we should stop. How do we can stop? Utilizing, leveraging infrastructure available across the globe. We have a duplication of data available everywhere, and we have a duplication of garbage of we are talking about garbage as plastic, but much bigger damage is that digital garbage is going havoc. People using WhatsApp, people using all social medias and mails. So somewhere technology has to help to remove this garbage out and make a environment so thin and friendly, so that you can have energy efficiency and invest on sustainable hardware, because that's what I'm looking at from IT point of view. Ethically, I see that AI is good, which is coming up, a wonderful tool for humans to leverage it. At the same time, technical leadership must ensure products and platform serve the diverse community equality and needs, because that's where I think I see that there's a gap we need to work on. ESG will address that in disclosing that IT must proactively in embedded in IT governance framework as well as infrastructure. Moving forward, industry 4.0, which is very, very predominantly helping to be transparent in shop floor operation, and BPS, that's business process automation, which are coming up extensively on top floor automation, and including workflows. So these are all things which part of ESG I consider to add as innovation and investment in getting into priorities in ESG in IT and business infrastructure. And one of the important thing is that talent and culture, because this is also one of the things which is part of ESG, although it applies to IT also and business leadership also, to see that how we can retain top talent, because that's what a consistent challenge for all the leadership team. So the young generation prioritize the purpose-driven work environment. So we need to adapt and help them how they can able to help working with their goals of purpose-driven environment, creating purpose-driven environment. In short, ESG is becoming a lens through which IT strategies are not only evolved or evaluated, but also justified forward thinking of CIOs, CTOs, or CDOs, ready to embed it into the everything from infrastructure decision point of view, products, services, and also roadmaps and strategies.
Let me tell you, Mr. Prasad, I love how you have highlighted the evolving role of ESG in shaping IT decisions. So that brings us to the last question of the podcast. Mr. Prasad, I know you have recently joined Directors Institute, and it's always fascinating to hear about the learning journey that leaders go on, even after years of experience. So, what was that experience like for you? And how did it add a value to your leadership perspective, particularly in terms of boardroom readiness and strategic thinking?
Well, that's a wonderful question to end with the session. Yeah, taking independent director course can be a transformative, step. What I feel, and that too going through director institution. I mean, I really loved, especially for the leaders looking to evaluate their strategic influence and boardroom presence. Because especially when I see a boardroom readiness, where I learned from director institution, the way the material has been provided, the way the video and audio information has been shared, I love it, because it is given like governance in acquaintanceship, which I see that course sharpened understanding of especially broad boardroom structures and governance best practices, also bringing in then equip with you and contributing you to make sure that you are getting a special sessions by eminent speakers, That's also I liked it very much. And it also helped me to know, understand how you can manage your stakeholder, because stakeholder management is very important. Although I have been seasoned experience for decades, but everything is a lesson learned experience. Especially if I touch base, digital director, sessions, very very thought provoking, as well as understanding that the current era of digital directorship, which immensely helped me to understand that this opened up my strategic thinking, as well as big picture of orientation of what I have to look at, a mindset from what I am today to look at future as a director on space where I will be contributing. So overall, I can say it's a constructive challenges where I learned from the director institution, as well as cross industry insights. This is very very important, which experience which I can say as the highlights I brought into understand from director institution. My experience is the course often blends technology frameworks with a real life broad scenarios which you have explained in the course. I'm really, really impressed, and they are very, very good and very, I can say, knowledge-oriented sessions. So it is a kind of, for many, it is a pivotal step to shift from being a senior executive to become a independent director, and have a strategic voice in the boardrooms with a contributed strengths, whatever an individual. I feel that I'm one where I can definitely add value to the boardrooms, where with the knowledge of and wisdom of technology, business knowledge, as well as strategic thinking.
Wonderful, Mr. Prasad. Wonderful. It's inspiring to hear how Directors Institute adds another layer to such an accomplished career. Mr. Prasad, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast today. Your insights into leading global IT's transformations, building strategic partnerships, and aligning technology with business goals have been invaluable, truly. And I'm sure our audience are walking away with a deeper understanding of what it takes to drive meaningful change in the tech space.
Yeah, thank you so much once again for the opportunity, to you as well as director institution. And it's been a great conversation, and thoughtful discussions, and hope the audience would enjoy and learn something out of this as a a value proportion. And I really looking forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again for joining in, Mr. Prasad. And to our audience, thank you for tuning into FaceTime with Leaders by Directors Institute. We will be back soon with more engaging conversations from top leaders who are shaping the future of their industries. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep leading with purpose. Thank you so much and have a nice time.